The hardest part of starting a video is starting. Um, and I never quite know how to get started. So I'm just going to jump right in. Welcome to my channel. My name is Amy. This is my first video, and I'm doing this to document my journey, my GLP-1 experience. And the reason I'm doing this is because it'll be easier for me to um, just to remember where I've been and what I've been through, what's happening, what's going on. Because I find that for myself, I kind of forget the bad stuff after it's over and done with, and I just focus on the good stuff, which is good. I like that. I'm glad I don't harp on the bad stuff. But it is nice to kind of go, wow, yeah, I did go through that, or that happened to me, and this is how I got through it. This is what I did, just as a reminder. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, other people on their GLP-1 journeys, and they've been very inspiring and helpful. And so my purpose of sharing this, is that maybe you'll get something out of it, that it will help you on your journey if you're just getting started as well. Um, and we both get something good out of it. The other thing I'm wanting to do with this is I recently got into editing video. It's a new thing I've discovered. I am having a lot of fun with it, and this just kind of adds to that. It gives me that opportunity to do some video editing as well. So it's a win-win for me. Um, yeah, so I'm just going to check my notes here and see kind of what I wanted to talk about. So like I said, I'm just getting started. I'm 3 weeks in. I kind of wish I had started doing this, the first week, but it's 3 weeks in, still early, and I'm going to share what I've experienced so far. Um, so in the beginning, when the GLP-1s came out, or grew in popularity, they've been out for almost 20 years now, but when they started to grow in popularity a year or so ago for weight loss, I was really against them. I like to do things naturally. Of course, there was that whole fen debacle back in I think the 80s or 90s. And so I kind of had those. I kind of had the thoughts of that incident in my mind, and so I wasn't really interested in this at all. Matter of fact, all the news reports coming out about it was really scary. The link to thyroid cancer, the gastroparesis, people having to have their parts of their stomach or their intestines removed because of paralysis, and that was very scary. And I had a lot of concern for people that I knew that were starting on these GLP-1s. And then I came across a YouTube video with Dr. Mark Hyman and Calley and Dr. Tyna. Um, and I really enjoyed it because it was like two sides of the coin. They were talking about oops, my alarm went off on my phone and turned my recording off. So I'm back. So getting back to what I was saying, I saw this video with Dr. Mark Hyman and Dr. Tyna and Calley, and it was the first time that I had heard Dr. Tyna speak. And so if you're not familiar with Dr. Tyna, I recommend that you go and check out her videos. She's been working with GLP-1s for maybe since they've been out, so 20 years. Go check her out. She's had a lot of success working with her patients, clients, with the GLP-1. So uh, but listening to that got me, it planted a little seed that, hey, maybe this isn't all bad. And so I started digging more into it, looking more into it. And there's been a lot of huge benefits for people with the GLP-1s on a low dose. Now, granted, what's coming out now for weight loss, people are at a much higher dose, and that's where we're seeing a lot of the issues. Um, and so I think over time, that's kind of gonna level out. It's going to level out. But it did get me thinking about my own journey. If this was right for me, would this work for me? And and I decided to give it a shot. So 3 weeks ago, no pun intended. So 3 weeks ago, I did just that. I went with Tirzepatide because it was a GLP-1 plus a GIP, which is to help with nausea. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of planning before I started. I didn't just jump right into it. And I can share how I prepared for this experience in another video if you'd like to hear about that. I did a lot of preparation, a lot of research, got things together for myself. I knew nausea and constipation were very, very common side effects. And so I planned for that. I did a lot of research. And I know I knew going into the common side effects were constipation, nausea, and then when you do have the weight loss, the 40% of it could be muscle loss. And so I was very well prepared for that. And so I went into it with the idea of I want to do this slowly. I don't want to lose muscle, so I want to make sure I'm doing what I can to maintain my muscle. And I did a lot of prep work in order to start myself off on the right foot. So the reason why I really wanted to do this was the food noise, the food cravings in my brain. And I'm sure if you are watching this, or you've had, are taking a GLP-1 or considering a GLP-1, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That constant food noise in your brain, where you're constantly thinking about food, when you're going to eat, how you're going to get it, how you're going to sneak more of it so you get more of it than maybe your partner gets. Um, Even when I would be doing really, really well, those voices, that food noise just never went away, never died down. And someone very close to me started taking a GLP-1, and she was noticing that was gone. And I was like, I, I want to try it. I'm going to give this a shot. And so I did. 3 weeks ago, had my first shot. And so I just want to go over a little bit of how that went for me. The first week was, I would say, like so-so. I did experience a little bit of constipation, not a lot. It wasn't bad at all. I was very aware of what I need to do to kind of keep things moving, so to speak. And so I did that. Um, but I just kind of felt, the biggest thing is I just felt like there was a rock in my stomach, and I just kind of felt kind of blah, not nauseous, not like I was vomit, just blah. Um, and so that was the rock in my stomach, the blah, and a little bit of constipation in the beginning. But again, not bad at all. I think the biggest thing I noticed during this whole, after the first couple weeks into it, or the first week, was the burping. I hadn't heard that before starting. That burping's a thing on the GLP-1. So so just be aware of that burping. And then so the first week was kind of blah, and then the second week was not good. So what I learned in the second week is I have to really, really pay attention to my water intake. I became very, very dehydrated. So one of the things on the GLP-1, of course, uh, that's the GLP-1 slows down the stomach emptying, it keeps you fuller, feeling fuller longer, so you don't eat as much and you eat less often. And well, with all of that, it slows down the absorption, also the absorption of water. So it slows down your intake and absorption of water as well. And so I didn't really, wasn't really prepared for that. And so I didn't really pay a lot of attention to my water intake the first week. And then one day after my second shot, I, felt a little not so good, but I bent over to pick something up off of the floor and almost passed out. And that was a wake-up call for me. So I started drinking a lot of water, and that took a few days for me to actually kind of come back from that. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to touch on was that, the first, when I get my shot, the first few 3 or 4 days, my appetite is very limited. And then after the fourth day, it starts to creep back up again. The hunger starts coming back in. So also the first 3 or 4 days, I have to really be aware of how much I'm taking in. I want to make sure I'm getting in enough protein. And so that's my focus. Protein intake, water intake every day, making sure I'm getting, whether I feel hungry or not, that I'm getting those things in. Um, and then around day, 5, 6, and 7, the hunger starts to come back. And by day 7, feeling pretty hungry and I'm ready for that shot again. So the third week went splendid. I mean, if I could have every week like the third week, this would be a breeze. Um, I felt great the entire week, the entire time. No complaints. Um, no, again, just some burping. But you know what? I can live with burping. It's not that bad. So the benefits I'm noticing so far, um, well, the food noise. The food noise. Oh my gosh. If you know, you know. It is gone. It is gone. Um, I can look at a piece of food and no, it's like it just feels so normal. It just what a what an incredible feeling and experience. Um, I could go months and months and months and eat really clean and never really get that food noise out of my brain. Um, and I know people talk about it all the time that if you don't have it, it'll go away. And you know what? It really never did for me. And I think this is why. And I have nothing to back this up at this point, but I think of it like this. So if you break your leg, um, I don't know if you can hear that siren, but that's the joys of filming outside. Oh, I've lost my train of thought now. Oh, the food noise. Oh, that's what I was saying. So I think of it like this. So like if you break your leg, you put a cast on it. You don't use it for 6, 8 weeks, however long it takes to heal, and so you let it rest so that it can heal. And I think of the GLP-1 kind of in a sense of kind of putting a little bubble around that craving part of my brain and protecting it, and allowing it to heal. And and my intention down the road in the future is to eventually get off the GLP-1s. I don't want to be on the GLP-1 for the rest of my life. I do think it's going to take some time for it to heal. My intentions are to be on the GLP-1 for 6 months and then reassess and see how things are going. And then if I decide to keep going at that point, I will. Through watching a lot of video content, I have heard some say things like 6 to 12 months is probably a good idea to do, and then weaning yourself off. So I will look at that again at 6 months. But for now, the food noise is gone. It's such a relief. I I feel normal. It feels normal. Um, I can eat. If my husband and I go out to eat, um, like I would never share anything on my plate. It was all like, a matter of fact, how could I eat all mine and have some of his? Like, how could I get him to give me some of his? And now it's like, go ahead, have it. Do what you got to do. Don't know how else to explain it. It's freedom. I suppose what everybody likes to hear is the weight loss. Am I losing weight? So I guess I should share some of that. Yes, I have lost some weight. I'm down about 8.4 pounds. And I know, because of course I know since this is just the beginning, a lot of that is water weight. But still, it's nice. It's nice to see that result on the scale. So if you haven't clicked off yet and you have watched this whole video, I just want to say thank you so much. Um, and I also want to say, you know what, if you have a YouTube video too where you're documenting your journey, please drop it in the comments below so I can come to your channel and follow you and support you. And we can just keep supporting each other on this journey. If you don't have a YouTube channel, I appreciate you being here and sharing whatever you'd like to share in the comments. If you found this helpful at all, um, I know there wasn't probably a lot in here that was helpful, but maybe down the road as I do this, they will get more helpful and inspiring, and so yeah, that would be wonderful. And like, follow, and share if you'd like. So thank you for being here, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye.